Hello students. So today we are going to discuss the chapter number 5, so that is human rights. So this is a revision class and we are going to discuss some of the important questions from the exam point of view here, and this chapter is for the fourth semester electronics and communication and electronic instrumentation and control engineering, and the name of the subject is professional ethics and Indian constitution here. So we are going to start with the what do you mean by human rights and what are the provisions under human rights. So basically, the human rights, they are sometimes called the fundamental rights or the natural rights here. So basically, the human right is a right which is believed to belong to all the person here, every person. So the human rights, they are common for all the human beings, whatever our nationality, our place of birth or residence or gender or national origin, color, religion, language, etc. So we all are treated equally to our human rights without any discrimination here. So these are the integral part of the constitutions. They are universal in nature here. So the different provisions under human rights are right to life, right to liberty, right to privacy, right to property, right of non-discrimination, so no sexual harassment, right to debate, right to speech, freedom from torture, right of movement here. So next we are going to discuss the discrimination against women in the field of education, employment, healthcare and economic and social life. So first we are going to discuss what we mean by discrimination against women. So women are discriminated against in many societies, like in the field of education, health, economic and social life. So some cultural beliefs consider that women are, they are subordinate to men here. So the society takes it granted that women are inferior to men, and this becomes what the first starting point of the discrimination here. So in India, the male domination is more, and women are under social control till the time of their birth, till their death here. So women suffer from a lack of independence in economic matters, the choice of education, so they cannot freely choose their education and even the employment, and basically they cannot take a decision, especially in matters of marriage here. So even though men and women they perform the same work, so men will be paid more than the women here. There in several companies there is a glass ceiling where the women are given a job with less decision making power, but in the recent years with several legislations favoring women, so modern education and economic independence of the women, the society is changing its outlook towards the nature here. So first we are going to discuss what are the steps taken by the government in order to eliminate discrimination against women in the field of education here. So that is, the government has made a reservation of seats under special quota to the women here. So they have eliminated discrimination against women in education in respect of access to studies at preschool, general, technical, professional, higher and non-vocational training courses. Even the government is giving what more awareness programs for women about the higher education and technical programs, and even we can find the women will access the same curricular examinations and qualified teaching staff, even the premises and equipments of the same quality as men, so there is no discrimination at all. And even the government is what they are giving same opportunities to benefit from the scholarship and other study grant, and the efforts are made to reduce the number of female students who drop out, and awareness programs should be provided for them who have left the school. So the government is providing more what it is giving more awareness programs, especially for the girl students who drop out from the school, right? The teacher will go to their native place or to their home, and they will request the parents to send their daughter back to the school here. There are what, these are what certain awareness programs here. So the same opportunities to participate actively in the sports and even in the physical education here. So these are what the some of the steps taken by the government in order to eliminate discrimination against women in the field of education. So next we are going to discuss what are the steps taken by the government in order to eliminate discrimination against women in the field of employment. So the right to the same employment opportunities, including the application of the same criteria for the selection in the field of employment here. So they have the right to choose their profession and employment here. So forcibly, no one can force a woman to choose a proper profession or employment here. So even they have the right to promotion, the job security, and all the benefits whatever the men they are going to get here. And they have the right to receive the occasional training, including apprenticeship, advanced vocational training, and recurrent training here. So next one is the right to equal remuneration for equal work. So remuneration is basically what money paid for work here. So if both men and women they work for the same hour, so both have to get what the same remuneration or the money here. Then right to social security, particularly in case of retirement, unemployment, sickness, old age, and other capacity to work here, as well as right to paid leaves here. So next, right to protection of health, to safety in working conditions, including maternity benefits or maternity leaves, and reservation in all kinds of employment. So we have seen. So basically, for the women, the 33% seats are they are reserved for the women here in almost all the employment. So then provide a special protection to women during pregnancy in those types of work proved to be harmful to them. So means there are certain places where a pregnant woman cannot work here, and as a company or as a the employer, he has to make what certain arrangement for the women, pregnant women, to work in such areas here. So these are what some of the steps taken in order to discriminate against women in the field of employment. So now we are going to discuss the steps taken to eliminate discrimination against women in the field of healthcare here. So every employed woman should be provided with healthcare center. So basically these healthcare centers are the clinics. They are staffed by a group of general practitioners or nurses providing healthcare services here. Next, employed women should be provided baby care centers. So these baby care centers are what they are. They care for and supervision of the child whose age is in the range of 6 to 12 years, and on the basis of medical ground, she should have medical leaves along with the medical claims and benefits. Next, women should be enjoyed with maternity leaves with remuneration. So maternity is what basically that is a period in which the woman is pregnant or just she has just given a birth to a child here. So then the government has made so many awareness program to the women about the health care, and they have provided a smokeless chullas to a rural woman. So basically this smokeless chulla is a cooking stove which is smokeless and which is energy efficient. And next one is providing emergency first aid treatment or provisions, then providing security of employment during pregnancy or illness due to pregnancy. And next, she should not be dismissed for absent from her work for a longer period as a result of illness medically certified. Then provision of maternity benefit taken into account during the event of miscarriage. So miscarriage is the case when a baby dies in the womb before 20 weeks of pregnancy. So this condition we call it as miscarriage, and every insured woman claiming the benefits here. Then we are going to discuss the steps taken to eliminate discrimination against women in the field of economic and social life. So on the eve of economic life, there are certain steps here. That is what a free choice of professional and employment, the right to live with pay. Next, retirement privileges and provisions for security in respect of unemployment, the right to live with pay during sickness, the right to live with pay during the old age or other incapacity to work, the right to receive family allowances on equal terms with men. So on the eve of social life, fundamental freedoms on the basis of equality with men, the same right to enter marriage, the same right to freely choose a spouse and enter into a marriage only with the free consent. and we can a woman can participate in the public function at all levels of the government. She can participate in the work of international organization. She has the right to vote in all the elections. Every woman has the right to rest and leisure. Then every woman has the right to education. So these are what some of the steps taken to eliminate discrimination against women in economic and social life. So now we are going to discuss Dowry Prohibition Act 1961. So we can define a dowry in simple way. So that is, a dowry means any valuable thing or property is given or agreed to be given either directly or indirectly by one side to another side, or by the parents of either side or anyone else in one another, or to any other person at the time of the marriage or after the marriage, or in connection with the marriage of a given party. So basically, as I said, the dowry is what the exchange of property or a cash or gold, anything which is given at the time of the marriage here. So that is in connection with the marriage. Maybe this is given before the marriage or after the marriage. So, but the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961 applies to the whole of the India except the Jammu and Kashmir. So this act prohibits the giving and taking of dowry. So according to this act, so we cannot even accept or we cannot give the bribery here, give the dowry here. The act is applicable to all the Indians without any consideration of caste, creed, and religion here. So even the act penalizes giving or taking dowry and the demand for dowry here. So further, when a person is accused of taking or helping to take dowry, she or he is considered guilty unless she or she can prove to the court that she is or he is innocent. Means if any person is involved in either giving or taking a dowry, and so if they caught him and if they sent to the jail, so then the person has to prove that he is innocent, means he is not involved in such activities until and unless he is or she is kept in a jail here. So even the penalty is also prescribed for preventing anyone of the rights and privileges of marriage because of non-payment of dowry here. So that is the first act, and second act is Domestic Violence Act 2005. So basically, the Domestic Violence Act provides the protection for the women who are the victims of the violence of any kind which occurs within the family here. So basically, on matters concerned with the family life or incidents which is related to it, the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 gives you the right to claim protection and assistance against domestic violence here. So there are three types of domestic violence. They are categorized into three types. So that is what physical violence. So under physical violence, examples are beating, slapping, hitting, kicking, pushing, then punching. So all these are physical violences. Verbal and emotional violences are insulting a woman, accusations on your character, insults for not having a male child, insults for not bringing dowry, forcing you to leave a job, etc. So these are what some of the examples of verbal and emotional violence. Then economic violence, examples are not providing you money for maintaining you or your child, not providing food, cloth, medicines, etc., forcing you out of the house you live in, or disturbing you in carrying on your employment. So next is Sexual Harassment and Workplace Bill 2006. So basically such incidents we have seen nowadays in most of the companies, either in the government or in the private sectors here. So right, the woman is the sexually harassed either verbally or physically. So that is what the illegal thing to do here. So right, in order to avoid such things here, the government have introduced the act called the Sexual Harassment Act Workplace Bill 2006. The beauty of the woman is her most valuable jewel. Everyone has a word to praise for that, but taking woman as granted and playing with her is what basically it is a illegal thing. So sexual harassment in workplace is what a serious threat, irritating factor for women because she cannot work freely or comfortably. Even that will affect the right to work with dignity here. So even it affects what the working conditions, or it create a hostile work environment. So basically the hostile work environment is one where so that is the behavior, it is the behavior within the workplace which creates environment that is what uncomfortable for one person to work due to sort some discrimination here. And the main features of this bill, so right, they have certain features here. So it is mandatory for every workplace and every employer in charge of a workplace to constitute an internal complaints committee. Second one is the committee is required to complete the inquiry within a time period of 90 days. On completion of the inquiry, the report will be sent to the employer or district officer. Every employer is required to constitute an internal complaints committee at each office or branch with 10 or more employees. The complaints committee have the powers of a civil courts for gathering evidence. The inquiry process under the Act should be confidential, and the Act lays down a penalty of rupees 5,000 on the person who has breached confidentiality. So government can order an officer to inspect the workplace and record related to sexual harassment in any organizations here. So next act is Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012. So that is in short we call it as a POXO Act. So the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012 so has been passed by the Lok Sabha in the year 2012. So that is on May 22nd. The Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012 has been drafted to strengthen the legal provisions for the protection of children from sexual abuse and exploitation. So, the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012 defines a child as any person below the age of 18 years and provides protection to all the children under the age of 18 years from the offences of sexual assault, sexual harassment, and pornography. So pornography is what basically making the videos of such things and spreading the videos either through the social medias or in other manner here. So these offences have been clearly defined for the first time in the law. So the act provides for strict punishment range from simple to serious imprisonment of varying periods. There is also provision for fine which is to be decided by the court here. So the act provides for the establishment of special courts for trial of offences under the act, keeping the best interest of the child as a paramount importance at every stage of the judicial process. So while during the inquiry process, so they are going to follow certain rules here. So that is recording the statements of the child at the residence of the child or at the place of her choice, preferably by the woman police officer. No child to be detained in the police station in the night for any reason. Police officer should not be in a uniform while recording the statement of the child. The statement of the child to be recorded as spoken by the child. Then assistance of an translator or expert as per the need of the child. Then assistance of special education or any person familiar with the manner of communication of the child in case of child is disabled here. Then medical examination of the child to be conducted in the presence of the parent of the child or any person in whom the child has trust or confidence here. So and there is what no aggressive questioning. So this is what all about POXO Act 2012. And next we are going to discuss National Human Rights Commission Constitution. So basically the NHRC of India is an autonomous public body constituted on 12th October 1993. The NHRC has the powers of a civil court. So basically it is an autonomous public body. Autonomous body means it is a self-governing body and it is independent and it is subject to its own laws here. So they have got their own laws here. So the NHRC is responsible for the protection and promotion of human rights. According to NHRC Act, the main provisions relating to it are as follows. There are what right relating to the life, rights relating to the privacy, rights relating to the liberty, so rights relating to the equality, the rights relating to the dignity of the individuals here. So next we are going to discuss the provisions under employee rights. So the first right is right to form and express professional judgments, then right to refuse to participate in unethical activities like taking or giving bribe, altering the test results or falsifying the data, the forging the documents, etc. Then third one is right to fair recognition and to receive remuneration for professional, and fourth one is right to warn the public about the dangers, and right to talk publicly about the job, and right to engage in the activities of professional societies here. So next we are going to discuss IPR. So that is intellectual property rights. So the intellectual property rights are the rights given to persons over the creation of their minds here. So means you are the person who have invented something new which is innovative and which is what entirely new, then you can have a right on that particular product here. So that is what intellectual property right here. So any artistic works including music and literature, as well as discoveries, inventions, words or phrases, symbols and designs can be protected as IPR. So IP permits people to have the fully independent ownership for their innovations and creativity like that of own physical property. The way you buy a property, so when you buy a property, it becomes your own property. In the same way, if you have invented something new, right, you can have what the individual ownership here, independent ownership on that particular innovation. So you can use your innovation or product, you can release into the market and you can earn the profit here. So it encourages the IP owners towards innovation and benefit to the society. It is an asset which can be bought or sold, licensed, or it can be exchanged. So there are four types of IPRs here. So now we are going to discuss what do you mean by patent. So basically a patent is given to a product or a process provided it is what entirely new and it involves for inventive method and which is suitable for the industrial applications. Means you have invented something new thing and which is useful for the industrial application, so then you can have the patent on that particular product here. So basically the patent is a legal document granted by the government giving an inventor the exclusive right to make, use and sell an invention for a specific number of years. So validity is the 20 years from the date filling the application for the patent. It needs registration here. So after the expiry of the duration of the patent, anybody can make use of the invention, or the owner of the patent can sell this property. He can also grant licenses to the others to exploit the invention. The above provisions have been made under the Patent Act 2002 here. Second one is copyright. So basically this copyright, this you might have seen in the books. So basically in the first page or in the second page, somewhere you have seen capital C is written with a circle. That is what within the circle you have seen a capital C here. So that is what the symbol of a copyright. So basically the copyright is one of the form of the intellectual property right, which offers exclusive rights for protecting the ownership of original and creative works like dramatic, musical and literary in nature. So that is, it is symbolized as a C, right? It is written within the circle here. So the copyright protects literary, written material, dramatic, musical and artistic work, films and audiovisual materials, sound recordings, computer programs and software. Basically when you open then the operating system, when you start the computer, so at the end you can see, or at the beginning, there somewhere you can see that it is a copywritten. So copywritten means what? The only the owner has he can utilize the property, right? No one has the right to copy the same thing and they cannot be sold here. So not only for the computer programs or software, even the copyright is applicable for the sound recording or even for the films or audio visual recordings or even for the written materials here. So means if an author has written a textbook, right, it becomes his copyright. So means no one has the right to copy the same thing and they cannot publish as their textbook here. So the objective of copyright law is to encourage the authors, the composers and artists to create the original works by rewarding them with exclusive right for a limited period to reproduce the work for the benefit of the public. On the expiry of the term copyright, the work belong to public domain and anyone may reproduce them without the permission here. And next one is trademark. So basically, trademark is a symbol we will see in day-to-day life, right? If you see a soap, if you see toothpaste, or if you see anything, there is what a trademark symbol with the TM or with the capital R. So basically, a trademark is a wide identity of specific goods and services, permitting differences to be made among different trades, right? The trademark is made in order to differentiate different products. Here means we have the two soaps here. In order to distinguish the two types of soap, so we use what a trademark. So right, trademark, it is what a territorial right which needs registration. So we need to register it. So registration is valid for 10 years. So means once you register, the validity is 10 years, and it can be renewable. So the trademark or a service mark be registered in the form of a label, a letter, a device, or a word, or a words here. So a trademark is not for a design. For example, the shape of a bottle in which a product is marketed will not be registered as a trademark. So the functions of trademark are: the goods are identified by their trademark. For example, Lux is a trademark of a Lux soap. So means whenever you go to the market to buy any product, so if you want to buy a soap, so you say give me a Lux soap. So that basically that Lux word is what the trademark for that particular soap here, right? In order to identify the different products, we have a trademark here. So it carries what indication of quality of goods even and customer satisfaction. Even the trademark acts as a silent promoter of sales. It serves as a medium for advertising the goods. So these are what some of the functions of trademark. And last one is a trade secret. So basically, a trade secret is the information which is kept confidential as a secret. So it is basically do it yourself from the protection. You don't register with the government to secure your trade secret. You simply keep the information confidential. As of trademark or a patent, so we need to register with the government for a particular number of years. But in case of trade secret, you don't need any registration here. So you need to keep the information confidential, right? For example, I have given example in the notes, that is KFC's recipes are so famous worldwide because they kept the information secret, right? The way they prepare the chicken recipes, the secret they have kept it confidential. That is why it becomes famous. So once the confidential data is what it, if it is leaked, it doesn't become what a trade secret here, right? uh, so thank you one more.